Hey, it's Friday. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm producing a song right now, my next single actually, and I decided, hey, I'm going to spend an hour on it today, and I'm going to go live with you guys just so we could do some Q&A and I could talk about it while I work on it. So fair enough, let's get right into it. So I am in Logic Pro here, and I was using Claude to write a description here for this video. But here we go. So this is kind of the session here, and I'll play a little bit of it for you guys. And I'm sure there's nobody on the stream yet, but if you're watching the replay, let's get into it. This song is called Brand New. Let's tap in. Oh, let's switch the audio here. So we have to go to settings and go out the audio card for you guys to hear it on the stream. Let's go to, oh, it's not even showing up. That's weird. All right, well, let's quit Logic. So I just got drums recorded on this track. So I just got the stems back and everything. And I just wanted to kind of go through what I would do as I'm getting this song going, the mix, but really like the production, because the drums, live drums are always, I feel like, a hard thing for people to get right on their music. And that's why a lot of the times I feel like modern music, people just stick with loops and shit. But I want to show you guys kind of my workflow, my process for live drums. What's up? Say what's up if you're here. It is Friday afternoon, so I don't expect a lot of people to show up, but you know, whoever does, what's up? Dice, please. What's up, man? All right, so we're going to open up the session. This is kind of like a pretty soulful song, feel-good, soulful vibe. It's kind of been my bag lately. Doesn't mean that I'll stay there. I got some other records that I'm working on that are, you know, a little bit more out of that pocket. They're more indie rock, indie pop, you know, whatever. Got some more sync licensing placements on TV shows coming up, so I'm excited about that. I just sync licensed my song, Bring Those Good Times Back. It's on the Suits LA series. It's like the first song on the first episode of season 1. What's up, Jerry? How you doing, bro? So this is a good opportunity for you guys also to just ask any questions you got while we're on the stream. I'm just going to kind of be working on my shit, and I figured I'd go live and kind of work on it with you guys. So whatever you guys got questions on, just hit me up in the chat, and I'll try to get to those. What's up, G2 Music? I wish I had like a little G2 Music. You know, just give you a little tagline. That'd be fun. All right, so here we are, Logic Pro, and I'll just go through the song with you guys real quick here. Make sure you guys can hear it. Go to the audio, Ecamm Live, great. And then I'll kind of break down what's in the session, the different elements of the project, and then we're going to go into these drums, the live drum takes and what we got going on here. I'll show you guys some cool stuff with the Stream Deck and what I'm using SoundFlow for. If you haven't heard of SoundFlow, very, very cool software to automate a lot of mundane tasks that you do over and over again, especially when it comes to like editing and, you know, tuning vocals or opening presets or coloring tracks or things like that, where you have to do it all the time and you're clicking and your wrist is like, fuck, man, I think I'm gonna have carpal tunnel, man. Man, I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling real good today. I appreciate that. I appreciate you asking me how I'm doing. That's what's up. All right, so let's play this song real quick. Just show you a little breakdown.
Gonna get on up to a brand new day. I'm picking back up, yeah, I'm on my way. Gonna put a smile back on my face.
All right, good time to stop. All right, so yeah, what I got going on here, let's just break it down a little bit. It's not mixed. It's mainly just produced, you know. I'm still also working on some of the production. As you can see, like the vocals haven't been flattened out or anything like that. These are just all kind of like takes as I'm recording, as I'm writing, producing, whatever. I do it all in Logic Pro all at once. That's why I need a really fast computer, and I need, you know, everything to just be like fluid. I want to just create. I come from a mixing, engineering background, but really I started by just playing music, you know, like playing guitar, playing drums, singing in bands, etc. growing up. So it all comes full circle. And then you get into like the technical shit, and then it kind of comes back around to how do I just make like cool music that I like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's just kind of tap in with what we got going on. So the drums I had on here this is like the loop and the stuff that I sent to the drummer, who is Kip Allen, and he's super dope. He's out of Nashville. Very, very talented guy. And if you ever need drums from him, just hit him up. He's on Instagram and stuff, so definitely recommend working with him. So here is kind of like the drum loop that I based the groove on and stuff. We'll play that real quick. And I like the drum loop. I think the drum loop sounds really sick. So I'll probably end up going more towards that vibe. I had a little fill and stuff. It's probably hidden. Yeah. So here's like some drum tracks and stuff that I had for the fill at the beginning. And I kind of like sometimes just like, you know, Frankenstein shit together to make it work. Like, for example, I had like this kind of, I don't know what you call it, just like a drum fill pretty much. I like this drum fill and this drum fill playing together at the beginning. Right, and then I layered the kick because that's just something I always like to do, is like maybe the downbeat of the kick or like certain parts of the kick drum. So I layered that kick up here in the sample. All right, so that's kind of like the foundation of where the drums were. And now, instead of these, I'm replacing them, not the shaker. I'm going to keep the shaker in there, but I'm going to mute the drum loop and the kick layer, and then bring in the live drums. And these are all the live drums. So basically what I give the drummer is the mix without the drums, and then the drums alone, soloed, and then yeah, that's it, really. And then he's going to play to the track without the drums, right? So this is going to be with the live drums. So right away, what it does is it kind of takes the track out of the world of being like this kind of like hip hop sample-y kind of thing, right? And it goes more into like a live band, which is what I want. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not actually, I didn't want it to sound like a sample kind of hip hop kind of thing. I wasn't trying to do that. What I'm trying to do is make a live band happen, like a live soul band. I call it like indie soul, you know what I'm saying? So indie soul, retro pop, etc. And so right now, what I'm doing is I'm trying to get some of these things that I like out of the loop, right? So this is my thought process, and hopefully this helps you guys. That's what I'm trying to do, is make sure you guys get value out of this. But my thought process is I really like the way these drums sound, this drum loop, right? I love the texture, and I love the EQ of it, right? It has kind of like a dusty kind of sound to it. Let's listen. Right, so it has kind of this like jangly, dusty kind of vibe. The hats are dark, you know, they're like, you know, they're not like really bright and, you know, splashy or whatever. So what I want to do is try to get that kind of same similar vibe and texture out of the live drums, because that is like cool to me. I just think that that's kind of a vibe. And it also kind of has like good glue because it has the ghost notes and stuff, right? So going to the drums here, my first step is to kind of gain stage everything. I'll go in and I will, you know, solo all these. I threw them all to a drum mix bus, as you can see, but you're going to see there's some overs and stuff here. So let's check this out. All right, so now what I want to do is like, I'm going to bring the kick, the snare in, the overheads, and then some of these like crush mics and stuff. Like this crush mic sounds really cool. It's kind of the vibe I'm going for, so I'm going to bring it up in the mix. But let's start with just giving me like, you know, let's kind of arrange the drums a little bit. Let's go like kick. We'll take the kicks, kick snare kind of vibe. We'll bring these together. So we have, the way I always think about it is like kick, snare, overheads, right? That's how I kind of like my shit arranged. Toms, not really that important. They can kind of be, you know, at the top, I guess. They only happen every once in a while. And then the bongos, those are kind of more like a percussion, hand drum kind of vibe. So from the bottom up, I want it to be kick, snare, overheads, room mics, etc. Okay. So I always know like the floor of my drums, like the bottom of them are going to be at the bottom, right? So let's move this. And let's take the overheads, put them here. There's a mono overhead as well. Let's bring that. So this is kind of like stereo overheads. We'll just go stereo overhead and mono overheads. And then we have stereo rooms. We have the hi-hat. So I want the hi-hat right above the snare. And the hot tato, what is this? This is probably like a super distorted, fucked up mic. Kind of cool. Like it sounds like it's gated as well. Like, you know, that's kind of cool. I think it's something that we can definitely use. But right now I'm like indifferent about that microphone. Not sure that it's going to fit really well with everything that we're doing. There's two top snare mics. So let's just pop in the bottom in this first top, and then I'll mute the hot tato one. All right, so right away I hear this one as like snare top punch, right? That's like the punch in it. And if I opened up an EQ, for example, I don't know why, PRO, right? So go like Pro Q4. You'll see in this punch, you'll see that it's mainly down here, right? That's where the focus of it is. Which is great. That's really nice. That nice snare, like, you know, I like that. I'm going to turn on a high pass, and I'm just going to bring that up, and probably just bring this to like really steep as well, 24 or so. And we'll bring this pretty far up because we don't want the kick drum and all that stuff in the snare. It doesn't really matter. A little bleed for this style of music is good. You know, you don't want to go and like clean up every single drum take because this is like funk, soul, you know, like you want it to kind of sound a little vintage, and vintage means you had mic bleed. You didn't have all these like these modern tools and techniques of like, you know, digital gates and Soothe 2. Didn't have that in the 60s and 70s, right? But not that I'm trying to go for that exactly. I'm going for a more modern take on it. But so that's like the punch snare here. Snare bottom, this is giving me like the actual snare, right? Which is like the spring or the little stuff on the bottom head. So this is going to be kind of where I'm going to get like detail, of like the ghost notes. The little ghost notes are going to come through on this one. So opening this up, we should get more of like the top and high mids and all that stuff. And you can actually see that it came up to 170 from like 120, right? So I don't really need this in here. I'm not going to worry about like getting rid of it or anything, but I'm just going to kind of like bring this pretty high up here. And then I'm going to try to find some like detail up here in like the, I don't know where it's at, but usually I find it in like 6K, 7K kind of area. See what I'm saying? So that's kind of like the, you're going to get the little ghost notes, and you want to make sure you keep those ghost notes because that's going to help the bounce, right? Like that's the drums, that's the feel of it. And when you listen to like a loop that I have in here, it's so compressed that it brings all that low level information up, which makes the drums feel more busy, because you're hearing all the different ghost notes, the snares kind of rumbling, the microphone bleed from one microphone to the other, right? The tom mics to the hi-hat mic to the overhead mic, they're all kind of like working together and giving you this sense of like movement and kind of bounce and syncopation, right? We're not just going do, k, do, k, do, it's do, right? And that's where you get the feeling. That's where you get the groove. That's the pocket, okay? Let me see. I'm going to just kind of jump into the chat here and see what's up with you guys. Keep rocking, man. Awesome videos. Always. Any recommendations for buying a new Mac? I bought the new M4 Max. Seems to be doing pretty good for me. But I would recommend the Mac Mini. I think the Mac Mini M4 Max is... The M4 Max Pro is like hands down the best value computer in the world right now. Nothing wrong with it at all. If you have an M2, you're fine. You need a new one. Yeah, I don't think you need a new one if you got an M2. M2 is highly powerful. I don't think there's any reason to upgrade from an M2. Unless it's just like the baseline M2, not the M2 Pro or M2 Max. Or M2 Ultra even, right? All right, cool. Let me see. What else you got? The Apple Dynamics. We got the Apple Dynamic processor from GarageBand. Can you open in Logic? It's sick gate. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, for gates, I have like go-to gates. Like Pro Gate, Pro G is really great from FabFilter, one of my favorites. Also, I use the Slate Trigger 2. The gate in that works awesome for drums as well. Find it hard to mix live drums because of every piece of drum is everywhere. Yeah, I mean, you get a good drummer and you let them really pocket in and play right and comp their takes and get something down. It's not as hard as, I think it is, or you think, it's like, it can be difficult, but you might just be making it more difficult than it needs to be. Hire the right players, and that's like literally 80% of the game. Hire an engineer. They'll take care of it. Get yourself Pro Mini. Yeah, so worth it, dude. Those are like maybe the best computers for the money right now. I mean, I think they are 100%. So right in here, another thing I like to pay attention to, doesn't get talked about often enough, on snare drums especially, you get this kind of papery thing going on in the 500 area. So just to pinpoint that, I'll show you what that sounds like. See what I'm saying? Like that's just right there makes that snare sound so much better. It doesn't sound like this papery, cardboardy kind of thing. So just right in there, I'll just tighten it up just a little bit so I don't get rid of too much of this or too much of the mids here. But that's lovely on the snare bottom. And snare top punch, you could check that area on the snare. I don't know why I shouldn't be boosting that. I don't think it needs a boost there, but let's go in here and just kind of like check this out. Yeah, that sounds great. One thing I think this actually needs more of is just the 1K area, the mids, right? So one of my favorites for like mid boosting is the API. API 550B is going to be like one of the best EQs possible for getting that middle. And I'll just literally go to the 1K area and I'll turn on this bell and I'll just boost this up. And I'll show you what that does. It just like does wonders for drums. You can also do this on the drum mix bus, which will really help. Right, and I feel like this snare is missing that. It's missing that mid-range. You can even see it on the EQ graph. It's kind of scooped out in the mid-range, which just pop it back in with an API. The reason I didn't boost it on Pro Q4 because Pro Q4 doesn't have the color that the API has, right? API has op amps in it. Also that 1K area on a 550B just sounds a lot different than boosting it on a Pro Q4. It's just a little bit more musical to me. So now we got that. We got the top punch, and then what is this? This top B mic. Let's listen to this one. Yeah, maybe that's really more where the mid-range lies. I don't really prefer to do two tops on the snare. I would rather have just a bottom and a top. You know, that's just me. But let's listen to what these sound like together, these top mics. I really like this punch, the punch mic, and then let's put it in with the bottom mic. So that's beautiful. That's exactly what I want. Now I'll bring up the top just to touch the punch. I'm going to mute this one, turn it off, and I'm going to hide it. All right, because I don't want that that top one. I just want one top mic, one bottom mic. Remember, you're going to get the snare drum in the room mics, the overhead mics. You're going to get the snare in every mic, honestly, even the kick mic, right? So now let's pop the kick and snare in. And then let's pay attention to gain staging. Now we're hitting about a dB over on our mix bus, right? On our drum mix. So let's take this down about a dB. And that sounds good right away to me. One thing I like to do with drums as well is before the plugins, let's just kind of move these down. Before the plugins on the top and bottom snare, which Kip does such a good job at this, and professional drummers that do this a lot already do this really well, but sometimes this can just give it that extra boost. I'll go in here and I will auto align. All right, so auto align 2, and I'll just do this on the snares, right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna align the phase from the top mic to the bottom mic. You can also check this very simply by getting out of here and zooming way in on the waveform, and you can see exactly what's going on as far as phase goes. And these are like pretty damn in phase, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like you're probably not gonna have any issues here, but let's just see what auto align thinks, you know what I mean? I sometimes will just do this to see if it sounds better or worse. You know, sometimes it's more punchy and fat and tighter, and sometimes it's like, nah, that didn't really make it better, that just made it different. So let's try this. All right, so it offset it by 39 samples. That's actually quite a bit. So let's hear what it sounds like now with the auto align on. I don't think it's making much of a difference. It's sounding a little different, but it's nothing that I'm going to be like, oh, dude, that's a game changer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not that big of a deal. Okay, so we got snare, kick. Let's listen to, we have a kick in and a kick out here. So this is a kick in. Let's listen to this. This is where we should be getting like the attack of the beater and the punch, you know, like the tit, right? And then the kick out is where we should be getting the low end, the sub, the, 100 to 40 hertz sort of area. Yeah, those sound pretty good. It sounds like a little wonky and woofy. I'm not really sure like how to explain what I'm hearing that I don't like, but this kick drum, this in, needs to be more punchy to me, in my opinion. Like it needs just like that punchy kick, that nice D12 kind of sound. If you know what a D12 is, like a Sennheiser D12 microphone. So let's go to Pro Q4 and let's try to tighten this up. All right, and I'm going to bring out some of this stuff. I like to shelf down on the top, usually on a kick drum. I don't like to sweep out. So let's check it out. So it sounds like he's already taken care of this when he recorded. He kind of EQ'd the inside mic a little bit, or has it placed where you're not getting as much beater attack on it. So I like that and I don't like that. So what I'm trying to do right now is give this more attack. So I'm going to use a compressor, and the R comp is one of the best for this sort of idea. And all I'm trying to do is like get that attack to happen, just a little bit more punch out of this. So I'm going to go pretty quick on the attack. Like let's go like 75 or so. And we're just going to give this some, that tick. All right, cool. So what this is doing is it's fast attack, but it's still letting the transient through, right? It's like the transient's happening and then it's attacking, okay? If you go too fast in the attack, it's going to kill the transient completely. So what we're going to do is like just let that transient through, and then we're going to compress, right? And that's just going to give it that sense to the ear that it's more punchy, that you're getting more attack out of the kick. And if you want to go another step, you want to like really, go crazy with that, you can do like a transient designer, like any of these work. It doesn't really matter what it is. UAD, SPL, I don't even have that one. I don't know why I picked the one that I don't have. Transient Master is probably a good one from Native Instruments. So I just like kind of pop up the attack here just a touch. It's not going to be that much. See how that just kind of gives us more of that flop, more of that, you know, that just kind of attack. That's all I really want. And I'm doing that without EQing up the top because the mic has a bunch of hi-hats and snares and all that stuff in it. So we're really just trying to get this punchy area going, okay? And now we can pop this kick out in and get the low sub stuff of the kick moving in, right? So those are moving and working together. And this is very subtle. This isn't like crazy. So that has quite a bit of low end on it on the kick out. So on this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to give it some compression. So let's do the R comp on this as well. And we're just going to, this is going to be more for control. It's not going to be much, like even like 2-to-1 or something. And we're just going to tap this a little bit. And this is just going to control a little bit of that woof, woof, that woofy kind of thing. We just want to tighten it up. The release can be pretty long on this actually. So let's do this and let's try it. All right, just some kick and snare there. And now we want to throw in the hi-hat, which the hi-hat, I'm going to usually, you know, EQ up unless he's already done this. We're going to see. See, we're just like subtly changing things. We're saving some voltage as well by shaving all that stuff out. You can hear the kick and snare are bleeding into the hi-hat. So that's just kind of taking up some stuff. But let's get this in the mix. And I like the hi-hat pretty loud on this style of music because it really does help the groove. Like that's really where you're getting the foundational rhythm, the eighth notes, etc., and some ghost note stuff. But it is the backbeat, you know. It's really like where you're holding down that timing. All right, so now let's pop in the stereo overheads. I don't even know if I'll use a mono overhead, but let's check this out. All right, so we're getting somewhere, right? Like now we have a pretty tight sounding kit. It's not crazy, but it also sounds really vintage to me, you know? And the next step I want to do is not to just like throw all these mics in. The stereo rooms to me sound like they're too close. You know what I mean? They're not far away enough. So what I want to try here is just make my own room. So I'm going to take like all my mics and think about like the overview, the picture of the kit is really the kick, snare, hi-hats, overheads, right? And if we send all of these with a bus, and we send them to, let's say, bus 10 here, and I'm just going to option click, so we're sending 100% there. We're going to call this drum room, and then we just pick like any sort of drum room kind of thing, right? Ocean Way Studios. I know there's a bunch of them by now, but let's just throw it into UAD Ocean Way. And I'm going to be like re-miking it into a room. And obviously Ocean Way has a very nice drum room. So we have a drum room here. We can go to drums 1, drums 2, whichever you think is going to sound better. It doesn't really matter, but different placements in the room. And then I'll mute this and I'm going to go with the furthest away, right? And you could change the distance even further, etc. M50, you can go through different microphones. Because we're going for sort of like a vintage feel, probably want to use like an M50 or U67. And I'm going to do this in Omni to start. It looks like we got a stereo pair though. So yeah, let's do Omni just to try it out. And yeah, we're just going to go here, and this is on remic. I like the reverb setting better. And then I like to blend this, but because we're sending to it, I'll probably just leave it on wet solo or, 100% wet pretty much. And now we're going to be sending to this so we can kind of give ourselves a fake room, fake room sound for the drums. Another thing, the drum room mics need to go back to the drum mix bus. So they all need to kind of come back to the same spot. Okay, so now I'm going to just turn the drum room down and I'm going to blend it into this drum sound. I mean, come on, you guys, like that's like night and day, right? That's insane. To me, that makes it sound like he tracked these drums in $1 million studio room, like maybe a multi-million-dollar studio room. And that's it, like straight up just making a fake drum room. When you get drum room mics from someone that cuts their stuff from their project studio, it's like a tiny project studio, you know what I mean? Like you're not going to get that depth. You're not going to get that, you're just going to kind of get a slap off of the weird walls that you're in this kind of spare bedroom that you're tracking drums in. So this gives it like this fucking big sound. And other things I like to tweak on this Ocean Way, you can go in on the EQ, the master EQ, and you can take down certain things. Like, for example, I'll take this up to, 100 hertz or something, and I'll gain down the bottom so it doesn't get so big there. It's like totally different kit when you do that. It's crazy, right? So just super, super dope. Basically, you're giving the drums to me when I'm making a record that's like acoustic like this, the drums are the soundstage, right? If you put the drums on the soundstage and you go, this is what the soundstage is, then everything else sits within that. That's how you mix a record like this. If you're doing like hip hop and stuff, it's totally different than like a live band feel. The drums are like, where are the drums on the stage? What is the sound stage? Are you in like a club? Are you in a cathedral? Are you in an otherworldly place? Are you in a tight, punk rock, indie punk kind of place? Do you want them really dry and electronic, like 80s kind of feel? What are you going for? And that's what you do. And when you think about like soul records from the 70s, right? Because that's what this really is. It's like got the horns and everything. You think they're all tracking in these studios. Like those were, budgets of really big budgets. Actually, you had like guys like Marvin Gaye and shit, where they were going into the studio and they were tracking, and they had all these vintage mics, M50s, M49s, U47s, C12s, etc. And then they were cutting to tape, and they were using analog consoles, the Neve consoles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what you're doing. You're just like kind of mimicking those sounds. And that's what this whole idea is with these drums and getting this right. Laugh, fucking Ray, dude. Albert Fox sucks. Classic. That's an inside joke, so it's not funny for anybody else here. You could have done better, Ray. Could have done better. I'll check that. All right, what do you got? Serum 2. Yeah, I'm going to put Serum 2 on this record. Yeah, great idea. Wrong live stream, buddy. What do you got? I have the Ocean Way. I find this kill the clarity of the sound. I don't think you're using it right. But I just showed you how to EQ with it, so hopefully that helps. Texture. Yes, texture, my friends. I have always latency on a mix bus with Ocean Way. Well, that sucks for you, my friend. All right, so let's move on. So that's my fake room, And by the way, you want latency with a room. Like, room mics are late. By design, you put room mics into a room. So when you're playing the drums, the microphones pick up the drums later because they're in a room. Duh. That's how sound works, folks. All right, so now we got stereo overheads. Those are all sounding good. Everything sounds good here, I think. I'm going to go to the drum mix bus, and I'm actually going to pull in a little preset. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll actually just throw like some tape on this. My new favorite for this, like, it's not even really a tape sound. It's actually like sound of converters, because this was not a tape machine. The tape on this actual machine, which was like a Sony 3348, I believe. Yeah, let's look it up, right? Sony 3348 tape machine. So this actually wasn't a tape. It's actually a storage device. So the actual tape on there that you're seeing, I don't know if this will even talk about it, but this tape machine right here, the tape on it is just a storage medium. So it was like a hard drive. And what ends up happening with this, what I really like about it, is that it has this sound on it that's just different than anything I've ever heard from a tape machine. And I think it's probably because it's not oxidative tape. It's not like, you're not hitting tape and printing to it. You're just recording to a hard drive. So the sound of it happens with the A to D, D to A converters, right? So there's all these different converters in here that this is modeling and mimicking. And then this EQ section is really fucking cool. And it sounds really cool. And you can drive the actual converters. You're not driving the tape, right? So just listen to it. I got it on the drum mix bus, and we'll kind of flip through some shit. Let's go. Let's get it. Like that 200 is just thick on that shit, man. It's like, sounds so good, especially with those room mics and everything. So I'm just kind of fucking with this, like pushing it a little bit, gets a little hairy, says drums a little hairy. And then you also have a blend, right? So you can actually just parallel this in. Like you could hit it really hard and then you could just like bring it back a little bit. You know what I mean? Sounds fucking great to me. So we're gonna get some overs here, and I actually really like to just hit the drums with a limiter. L1 Waves L1 is go-to for me, man. Like I just have always loved this this limiter. I think it's so good. So I'll just kind of give it a little bit of limiting, and really it's about the outsealing here, right? And the auto release works really well on drums. Right now we're getting closer and closer to that kind of just dirty, grimy, you know, soulful, tape saturated kind of feel, right? Which that's what we're going for. So we got a little limiting going on. We got a little EQ. We got a little compression. We got a little transient designer. I'm going to actually back this down just a touch and put it on smooth. And this is already on limit, but yeah, that should be fine. I'm just going to take this gain down so we have a little headroom. I always like to leave headroom because I know as I mix, I'm going to just keep kind of bringing it up, you know, compression. We're going to bring up saturation. We're going to bring up low level stuff. We're going to do all this stuff. So I know that's going to happen. So I just always do that. If you want to get really crazy with your drum mix bus, one thing that I've always messed with heavily, and by the way, I'm just going to really quickly color these drum tracks. I guess I'd have to bring these into create track, right? So now we have tracks out here, and with SoundFlow, I can just hit that guy, and now I've colored those. So these are just like all my color bars. So I can go through and like, oh, all my drums are this brown color. Usually with horns, I do them as like a purple, right? So I have this purple, right? Bada bing. And there you go. And if I want to color all the tracks as well, I'll just go here and grab all the tracks. I don't know why these aren't highlighting. Do I have like that's why. So if you have this on, it's not going to highlight all those tracks that you select, but we're going to go boom. Those are all the horns. And I'm just going to go purple, 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 purple. I don't know why these keep unhighlighting, but there you go. All right. So now I have all my, oops. Did I hit the wrong one? Yeah, I did. So that's pink. That's my vocal stuff, right? So this is the purple. So go boom, boom. Now all my tracks are purple that are horns. My bass is yellow always. And my vocals are hot pink. And then my keys I usually do in this blue. So that's that blue, not the other blue, which is like almost purple. I don't know. And then same thing here. If these are keys, then I'll go boop, boop. And there you go. I'm all colored up. I know exactly where things are. I go keys, red are guitars, hot pink are vocals, yellow I got my bass. And this is actually the wrong yellow, what I just noticed. Go here, yellow, yellow, bada bam. All right, so now I have all that ready. I know that this is brown. This is my drums. I can go in here and go boom, and go boom, boom. And my brown for all my drum samples, etc. And I can bring these down to the bottom because I don't want them to take up too much real estate because I'm replacing those pretty much. The only thing I'm going to be using is this kind of like crunch shaker thing, right? Then I got my drum room and drum mix. So I'm going to bring these to the top of the drums. So where are the top of the drums? Right here. And this untitled, I don't know what this is. I think it's a fill or something at the beginning, like a tom fill. So let's bring that here. Yeah, this should not be going. So this is supposed to be muted. This is supposed to be muted. I actually use this sample in here to just kind of emphasize this first tom hit, because the tom he has here, this high tom, it has like a boo, you know, it's like kind of really dead. But then the sample that I have here is more like a boo, like it like really sings. All right, it's like dun. So those together, it just kind of emphasizes that first tom hit. All right, so obviously we have a lot more gain staging to do, right? Like I'm not just going to like turn on all the other mics and just call it a day and it's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like not going to do that. Now it feels like summer drums. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I don't know if you're talking about the song or if you're talking about summery drums. I love this. You have made me better at Logic Pro. That's what's up. That's the key. If I've made you better, subscribe to the channel. You know, drop some love. Drop some love on the channel. That's all I ask. This is all free game. You know, you guys aren't paying me for this shit. I'm just live streaming, showing you guys exactly how I work on records, you know. Just say thank you, throw a thumbs up, you know. If you really love it, you can super chat me, you know, buy me a coffee. You know, you're like, oh shit, I get to sit over his shoulder while he works on his record. I'm going to buy you a coffee. You don't have to, but, you know, it'd be nice if people showed a little bit more appreciation. But anyway, like I'm underappreciated. Okay, so we got drums, we got toms, we got chongas, we got these crush mics. So these are like the things that are really making it sound distorted and intense. Is like this crush mic going through this drum mix bus now with the tape machine and all that. These are things that people don't pay attention to, right? They're like, oh yeah, it sounds great when you throw the tape and the saturation, but then bro, you have this mic right here. It's already distorted and crushed and compressed to hell and shit, right? So you have to understand what's going on there. You can't just think that, I'm just going to throw everything through the same bus and all that, right? And it's going to be fine. So now we have to really gain stage this. So what I like to do is kind of work backwards. What I'll do here is I'm going to mute everything that I'm not using. So let's just mute all these and let's bring these other things in one by one. So we've brought in everything, the overheads, the hi-hats, the snare top, bottom, kick, you know, you have all that. And then you have the shaker. The shaker should also go through the drum mix bus, just so we don't have any timing latency differences between the instruments that are playing the rhythm section, right? I don't want to have like the shaker playing late to the other drums because they're going their own subgroup. It would be stupid to do that. So I'm going to go through the drum mix and now I'm going to gain this to where I think it sounds good. Also the shaker going to the left a little bit might not be a good idea because you have your hi-hat kind of going left. And I like to do drummer's perspective usually, like right-hand drummer's perspective. You know, tom 1, boom. Tom 2 or floor tom is going to be down here, like a 3-piece kit, you know what I'm saying? So you got a snare, tom 1, tom 2. I don't like to do like, you know, tom 1, tom 2, tom 3. You know, this isn't metal or like math rock. This is just soul, you know? So we're just kind of panning from left to right sort of thing. Snare should be up the middle. Kick should be up the middle. Hi-hat should be a little bit off to the left. Floor tom should be to the right. High tom should be a little to the left. And if you want to kind of exaggerate that, you can. And then overhead should kind of set the scene of the overview of the kit. And then the room mics should really give you the stage and the room, the sound of the walls and everything. And that's, I feel like, what we have designed here. So the shaker, I might go to the left, right? Because the hi-hat's playing here and it's panned over here. So if the shaker's over here, it's kind of countering it and it has that cool feel. That's just in my head. I don't know. I just make this shit up. So I can hear other drums going on. So I got to make sure I have all these other things muted. And it's probably something hidden that I'm missing here. Yeah, let's just mute that. What is this? Why is this on the snare top? That's weird. Okay, so did I accidentally turn that on the snare top? No plugin. That ain't right. All right, so let's re-hide that. Maybe that's what was happening there. I'm not really sure, but I was getting kind of a flammy kind of thing going on. So let's make sure that this is all correct. So drum mix, yes. Drum room, yes. This goes to the drum mix. Yes. All right, let's hear that again. Okay, so it's this guy. I don't want this guy. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know why that was going off, but let's just delete it.
Gonna get on up to a brand new day. I'm picking back up, yeah, I'm on my way.
All right, so right away to me it sounds like it's a little too roomy, but we don't have all the mics in, so I'm not going to start like trying to make it less roomy, you know what I'm saying? Yo, appreciate you, bro. You're always showing love. Thank you so much. This is around $10. Thank you. That means a lot, man. It's very nice. Very nice. 100. So interesting. Norwegian crowns. Yeah. I sent $100. I do remember that. That was fun. I like it when I think you sent $100, you know? Let's just pretend like you sent $100 United States American. It means a lot, and I appreciate you, dude. Like, just keep coming through and keep giving you game. And, you know, $10 just supports the channel. YouTube takes like almost 50% of that, by the way. So appreciate you guys. Really do. All right, so let's start popping in these other mics, right? Like, I want to try this Crush mic. This is my next one that I want to give a shot here at. And I also, just to play some housekeeping, I'm going to go to the Ocean Way and turn that down just a touch because I feel like we're getting a lot of room. Okay, so here we go. Where'd we go? Crush. Yeah, Crush mic. All right, let's unmute this and let's start blending this in.
Gonna
Isn't that crazy how much that Crush mic changes the sound of the drums completely? It sounds papery to me. You know, you got to be really careful with that. It's just going to be a little bit goes a long way. All right, let's also make sure we push a little bit of that Crush mic to the room, right? So we need to make sure that all these different drums are going to the drum room mix, because if not, it's going to sound really awkward. You have like a really dry microphone with like these drums that are in a room. Doesn't make sense, right? So let's just send that there. Yeah, sounds cool. I like what it's doing now. You just like very little, right? And then on the Crush mic, you can do some limiting. Like I like to limit these kind of mics and just make them not dynamic at all. And the reason I'll do that sometimes is just to, I'm sorry, did I just throw this on a, okay, it is a mono track. All right, so I'll do this to just like keep it really, really still, you know? And sometimes you bring up low level information that sounds really cool. Right? It's cool. It gives you more of the ghost notes of everything. And this is sounding just a little papery to me. So right before the L1 limiter, I'm just going to go in and do some housekeeping on this kind of papery area here. All right, so this is like the foundation of the drums right now, and I'm like feeling them out, and I'm like, ooh, it needs more thickness. It needs more oomph to the drums, right? They got to really be punching up. They got to. They're not holding against the track right now, right? Which means sometimes you should just turn everything down, you know, and match the drums a little bit more, so you can get more headroom and you can drive more into the master bus at an even volume. Like instead of me like pumping these drums up and trying to get them to where everything else is at right now, I might want to just take everything around the drums down and give myself some more headroom. So I constantly do that. What we have to do here though, because there's probably automation going on as well. First of all, I'm going to hide all the tracks that should be hidden. So like these guys, let's get rid of these. Bypass, and right click, and we're going to hide this track. I think you have to do that in the actual arrangement window. So go hide selected tracks, and then let's, all the drums are fine. I'm going to keep them all the same volume, besides these guys, because these are like claps. So these are like layered in claps. I recorded them. I've used samples kind of layered in different stuff, right? So you have like samples, a bunch of different sample layers, and some... Did I record any? No, not. Yeah, just this one, really, I think. But yeah, these are just claps here. So let's listen to these claps. And we'll keep these probably where they're at.
Bigger and better than I've ever been.
All right, cool. So the claps and the drums and everything down here is going to kind of keep the volume, right? But this above, like the horns, vocals, piano, guitars, all this other stuff, I'm going to take down. So first thing I have to do is go into the mixer and make sure I don't see any of this. If I see read here, that means I have volume automation, most likely. So let's go to the vocals because that's where it looks like it's focused. And if I hit A, I'm going to open up my automation lanes and I can see, yes, there is volume automation going on. So if I know that, I have to make sure that I pull down all the tracks from this trim right here. Because if I just take the volume down here, for example, then once I hit play again, the volume automation is going to override that and it's just going to bring those tracks up. And these are going to sound really loud, right? So you can do one of two things. The first thing you can do is say, hey, I'm going to take everything down by 2 dB. Okay, so I'm at negative 3.6 here. Let's go to negative 3.5 or 5.6, right? So let's go do. And now that I know that I did 2 dB down, when I hit play, these reads, all of these reads are going to go back up, right? So check it out. Just mute this.
So I'm coming back. So I'm coming back. So I'm coming back.
All right, so imagine every read here that has any sort of volume automation on it, like these guys here. You're going to go to all these tracks and pull them down 2 dB. So this says negative 10, we'll go negative 12, 2, right? This doesn't have to be perfect because I'm not really like deep in the mix. This isn't like, oh, these are such important, you know, subtle, tiny moves. I'm not at that point in the mix. So in the mix where I'm at right now, it's like, just chisel it out. You know what I mean? Just fucking take that hammer and the chisel and just start chunking away at shit. That's what we're doing right now. So I got negative 1.5 here. We'll go to negative 3.5, right? And boom. So now we're all good there. And it looks like we have these two stragglers here. So 4, 6, 7, right? So go boom, boom, boom. That's good. And then negative something like that, whatever. All right, cool. So now we've pulled everything down and we should have a more balanced mix here.
So I'm coming back. Sorry about the rain. That sun keeps coming, shining brighter with every day. And I don't worry about the day, yeah, 'cause everything's brand new, with more living. Gonna get on up to a brand new day.
Right, already sounds a lot better, right? Now I have headroom, I can work with stuff. So now let's start to add the other mics. First of all, let's just see what this mono overhead is doing. And let's also make sure, just for the sake of what we're doing, to get all of these sent to the same bus 10 send here. Just so everything's going to that room. Drum room, boop. There you go. Now we'll start kind of bringing in these different mics. And just listen, like that's your job. Your job is just to listen. Like use your ears, listen.
Gonna get on up to a brand.
I think the mono one sounds pretty good. It's like a thickening agent in the middle. Only thing is getting that papery stuff going again. All right, cool. I like what it's doing. The crush mic, I don't know. I'm just kind of balancing and rebalancing as I go. So let's just take this down just a touch more. Sick. All right, now we're going to hide this one. I want to hide any motherfucker that I ain't working with. All right, and then we got the hot tato. Let's pop this guy in. Kind of interesting, right? Like these mics that he's got on here is like such a good way to do it. Like good job. Good job, Kip. Kip for the win, bro. All right, so now we have toms. These toms are, I think probably I want to gate them just to not have so much bleed from them. So here's what they sound like with all the bleed. It's like almost too much, right? Let's pop these in with the kick and snare though, and just kind of let's hear them out. Let's hear them out. Ooh, now I'm hearing this this top snare punch mic. I feel like we want a little bit more top on it, like maybe 5-6K area. So let's just kind of go in here and maybe even 8K. Let's try it out though. Try this. Dude, the 550B is so magic, man. Like that just sounds so musical. It's like I just feel like I just made the snare just sound better. That's all it does, you know? And I also want to just maybe on the top snare punch mic, just cut out just a touch of whatever's going on in here. Just a little bit more clarity. That's all I'm looking for. And might actually just want a little snap too, like right after it, just a little compression snap. 1176 would do this very, very well. Anniversary Edition is amazing on snare drums. I find you can go to the slow attack here, and you could just let that just spank a little bit. You could try 2-to-1. We'll give it a shot here, just to give it some snap. We want some snap out of it, the pop. Whew! So sexy. So sexy, baby. 1170 motherfucking 6. All right, let's check this out. let's save. We haven't saved in a while. Always saving. Saving grace, baby boys and girls. All right, so let's try one more thing here. I want to take the toms sound good to me. I was gonna like, yeah, bro, I need to like, go strip them down and shit. But maybe the only thing I would do is clean up the bottom of them. Just so we don't have a lot of like kind of shit going on. You know what they could use is like some distortion, just like some saturation to make them sing a little bit better. That's the only thing I hear that I would want to mess with. Maybe like a. God, there's so many options. So many options. So many. Let's go magma. Magma's little tubes. Little tube. Just give it a little hair. I like how the sample pulls it up as well in key, like the note of it. So it's going like boom, boom, where it needs to go bing, like it needs to come up. So like this pitch is better for me. Right? Like they play like an octave of each other. Not sure it's quite an octave, but sounds fucking cool. You guys like this? Are you having fun with this? You getting something out of this? Or am I just like blabbering and you're like, dude, shut up, bro. I got a lot of videos coming for you guys. I've been busting my ass on content, which is, it's a lot of work. So I really appreciate you guys sharing the shows, supporting the channel, checking out the stuff, and dropping comments. And if you do get something out of it, hit a thumbs up, drop a comment, a question, say what's up. You know what I mean? Like, it's really, really, really helpful. Like, it's really exhausting to create content and just feel like nobody's paying attention. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for 27 years now, 41 years old. I've been in music for a very long time, and I got platinum records, Grammy nominated work, Oscar, Emmy, all sorts of shit going on that I've done. And I'm just here sharing this stuff with you guys. I'm not just some guy that just like makes music. I've been doing this a long time. I have a lot of credits doing this stuff, and this is how I make my living. So I don't make my living making content. I don't make my living streaming for you guys. Obviously, that'd be a really bad living. Well, I got $10 today. YouTube takes half of it. So I made $5 today. I'll be making what? $5 shit, I'd be like around like what, $3.25 an hour, something like that. That would be my rate. And then I'd have to pay for the studio time and the camera and everything else. I think I'm actually in the negative right now. So I'm just literally spending my money and time and energy and taking out of my pocket to stream for you guys. All right. So, you know, I could be going so much faster on this right now if I wasn't explaining it at all and breaking it down. I just have fun with it, and I hope you guys are getting something from it. And the only way that, you know, this works, this whole relationship, is if you guys share shows, you drop comments, you spread the love, and we grow the channel and the community, and I can help more people. And then hopefully some of those people will work with me one-on-one. They'll do mixing and mastering. They'll do my artist development program, you know, and I'll actually make a little bit of money so I can sustain a business doing that and helping independent artists. Otherwise, yeah, this is all out of my pocket. So I really, really do appreciate you guys just, you know, showing love. That's all it is. Just come through, show love. Go to the channel, find a video you've seen before on my channel, and you're like, dude, I got a bunch out of this video. Go in there and drop a comment, hit the like, share it to your Instagram stories, whatever. Like, tell someone about it. That's all. That's all you have to do, you know? Sitting here and mouth breathing and watching me and taking all the stuff that I'm telling you and then applying it to your own shit and not saying thank you, not applying, like not even just like saying thank you. That's so fucked up, you know? So don't be that guy or girl. Don't be a piece of shit. That's all I ask of you. Don't be a piece of shit. All right. So I'm going to wrap this up, but this big one and the last thing I'm going to do for these drums, and you guys are going to be like, oh, that was the shit you needed to do from the beginning, bro. I'm going to give this a parallel compression. So we're going to take all of these, we're going to send them to a bus, and we're going to go boom, and I'm going to option click 100% to it. When I do parallel compression, I always 100%, right? Oh, let's throw the shaker through the bus 10 as well, which is the room. Just give it a little more vibe, you know, a little bit more space, etc. And bus 11 is going to be here, and we're going to double click here and call this drum P-comp. Drum P-comp. And then on here, we can do all sorts of stuff for a parallel compression. Like you can, the sky is the limit, my friends. But I usually like an 1176 or an API 2500, just kind of the proven ones that I really dig. SSL comp, you know, stuff like that. So let's go to, actually, yeah, let's just do a, oh, another one could be cool is the Shadow Hills, right? Shadow Hills Mastering Comp. This is a great one for parallel compression. I don't usually use the plugin Alliance one. I don't know why. I usually use the UAD one. Shadow Hills, bitch. Is this it? Mastering Comp. Bam. All right. So actually, this is the plugin Alliance. Doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna do some parallel compression here. You could start with a preset, but this looks really complex. It's really not. Just so you know, like this compressor, you're like, whoa, looks insane, right? It's not. It's really not insane. You have a discrete and you have an opto compressor, right? So here's your optical and here's your discrete, and then you have your output. So these are the meters, right? So this is what you're metering. So you can meter the optical or the discrete. And down here you have the discrete threshold, discrete ratio, optical threshold, optical gain, and you can put in and out these different things. So optical in or optical out, right? I like the discrete for the most part on the compressor. So let's go discrete, and it's like kind of VCA is the whole idea. So it's really punchy. And then here you have different mastering. I guess this is the output transformer, right? So you have a nickel transformer, an iron transformer, or a steel transformer. And the best way that this has been explained to me is this is more around 50 hertz steel, right? Iron is more around 100 hertz, and then nickel's around 150 hertz. So that's kind of like the fundamental of it. That means the harmonic structure of it, the harmonics it's adding is around there. So 50, 100, 150. So you want punchy, you want low subby stuff, or you want like really punchy, you go nickel. So I'm going to go right here in the middle with iron. That's where I'm going to start. And let's just, because we are on discrete, let's go to discrete ratio. I think 2 to 1, no, 3 to 1, 3 to 1 to 4 to 1, something like that, because we're doing parallel compression. And then we will, yeah, we'll leave the attack on let's go 10 milliseconds. And then the recovery, I'll just kind of bring this up a touch. Doesn't need to be too long. Probably pretty short, actually. And then you have the gain, the makeup gain, and really this is the threshold. So let's just start messing with the threshold. Oops, sorry, I was unmuted. So here's what we're gonna do now is I'm going to start to dial this in, this compressor, and then we're gonna blend it in. So let's just solo the parallel compression. So now we're using optical and discrete, right? But I'm going to take the optical out. But you hear how the optical actually sounds like really, I guess like the best way to put it is like smoother, right? It's just like really smooth, like silky almost, right? And the discrete's more punchy and it's more aggressive. So we're going to go to discrete. We're going to take the optical back out. And I'm going to mess around with the discrete. And right now, we're also going to mess around with the output transformers. And then you see here, you have the discrete in and out as well. So you can pop that in and out. So really you just have like two compressors in one is the whole idea of this whole plugin, right? And then this is left and right. So you do need to match these sides. I think there's a way, I forget how to link them. Yeah, okay, here we go. You got dual mono or stereo, so I think it's already doing stereo, so we were good. All right, so this is in stereo, that's dual mono. So you can switch, you know, the left and right. Dual mono would be, this is left side, right side, and you can change them and make them different. Stereo would be, now they're linked. So you could just change one side and it's going to affect both, right? Obviously. And you can hear that in the drums. If that wasn't the case, if it wasn't in stereo, you'd hear the left going like really compressed and the right side being like, dude, what the fuck? You know? So you'd hear it right away. You also have a sidechain filter, which is really cool. So you could bring this up so you're not affecting the really low stuff. But because this is parallel compression, I want it to be full, you know, full on. And then it's 100% mix. And yeah, it's hitting hard, as you can hear. But let's mess around now with going between these different output transformers. So as you can hear, the parallel compression is really just like making those drums go, whew, stand up to attention. Like I think of it as like a lift and a push forward. And harmonics does that, and parallel compression on drums is fucking amazing. It's like That's the real deal. I hope you guys really enjoyed the stream. I hope you come back for more, and I hope you guys really, dig all the content on the channel. If you do, again, just show love. That's all I ask. All right, you guys have a great day. Enjoy it. Happy Friday. Peace, guys.